Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. A popular group Halloween costume when you all can't agree on something, so you go basic. There's Raphael, Leonardo, Michelangelo with the chucks, and the purple one, it's Georgia O'Keeffe.
It's Donatello.
That doesn't sound right. I named all of you after great Renaissance artists.
Georgia O'Keeffe wasn't a Renaissance artist. She painted flower vaginas.
Okay, I actually didn't grow up on the Ninja Turtles. Never hopped on the Turtle Mania craze like some of you might have. But I have been to their sewers in Fortnite though, so I pretty much get it. But did anyone know that the Turtles actually started off as an underground indie comic series? I always assumed it was the 90s cartoon and that dank-ass cheese pizza that put them on the map. Well, their comics started long before any of that. And I found this cool video by mattt, who takes us on a journey from the Turtles' humble beginnings to immense popularity, and how the overwhelming success more or less destroys the close friendship between the two creators. So come on, let's jump into the video and get ready for one shell of a ride. Holy shit, that was so bad.
So how did this tiny, violent black and white comic end up becoming a property bigger than the Avengers? A 19-year-old Kevin Eastman, a guy who desperately wants to be a comic artist, but is currently stuck boiling lobsters at a restaurant in Maine.
I like his background. I want to steal that somehow. Also, he is staring at me so hard with those piercing blue eyes. Why does this feel so intense?
Now, Laird is 8 years older than Eastman, but despite the difference in age, the two become fast friends, bonding over their love of comics and bad TV. Pretty soon, Eastman moves in with Laird. Eastman keeps working at restaurants, and Laird is scraping by doing illustrations for local gardening magazines and newspapers, but they both want to land that big job at Marvel, DC, or another big comic publisher, so they spend their nights hanging out and drawing comics in front of the TV. On one of those fateful comic drawing nights, Eastman whips up a sketch to try and make Laird laugh. It's a turtle with nunchucks.
What the fuck is that? That is a derpy ass turtle. Dude does not look built for speed. Are the nunchucks around his wrists? Like, how would this design use them? Just like flail his little turtle arms around?
Laird grabs a piece of paper and does his own rendition.
Okay, this one looks better, just more badass. The other one's bandana had like a honk schnoo sleepy vibe to it.
Eastman gives the drawing a name, Ninja Turtle. Laird fires back, adding Teenage Mutant.
Show me the build up to get to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, I want to hear the bad pitches, the we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at home type names. Bipedal, adolescent, warrior reptiles, mutant, pubescent, fighting pterapids. God damn.
The idea wasn't created by some toy executive or marketing guru. It wasn't even created by a work-for-hire comic artist trying to meet a deadline. It was made by two friends who were just trying to make each other laugh.
Which is just, I mean, come on, the most wholesome of origin stories.
They must have known they had something special because they decided to turn that sketch into a full comic. They multiply their little turtle by 4, give each of them a name based on Renaissance painters, and base their personalities on themselves and their friends. Donatello is Laird, the reserved tech geek, and Eastman is Raphael, the wild hothead.
No, don't make him the nerd turtle. He was already a nerd in the 80s. Society back then did not treat nerds too fondly, so let this man be something new.
It's such an odd choice to use your main character design 4 times, but at its core, this is a story about friendship. The friendship between Eastman and Laird, and its mirror in the turtles themselves.
To have you and your buddy make 4 badass weapon-wielding turtles and still be paired up with the Gazmo and Gidget turtle is humbling. Like your friend gets to claim the hothead daredevil turtle and you're still the geek in a new reptilian shade. Like, just brutal.
To fill out the rest of the Turtles' origin story, they fill the comic with things they love. One of the things they love is Daredevil. So the Turtles' origin story actually happens just out of frame of Daredevil's origin story, where the goo that gave Matt Murdock his powers drips on a few turtles.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
And it doesn't stop there. Daredevil's master is Stick, so of course the Turtles study under Splinter. Daredevil fights the hand, so Turtle fights the foot. People have called it a parody, but I don't think that's really an accurate description. It's more just a goofy celebration of the things they love.
I completely agree. I think it's a lot of fun to include little like references or Easter eggs in your stories to like what you were inspired by. Like the Turtles aren't a Daredevil spin-off, they're fucking turtles. Ninja Turtles. Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Another crazy thing about these two guys is how they work. Instead of having one write, the other draw, or one pencil and the other ink, they both sit down next to each other and pass every page back and forth, each doing a little bit of the penciling, ink, and shading so that you can't see who did what on any particular page.
Yo, to be able to do something like that and still be boys is unmatched. Like, you gotta be on some powerful wavelength to be able to do the art and the style and the flow like all in sync like that. Someone make a video where 2 comic creators that hate each other have to do this. That would be entertaining as hell. Someone with enemies needs to make that. If you're a comic creator with a bunch of enemies, this might be the idea for you.
Over the course of the 40-page issue, they invent so many things that just a few years later would be deeply embedded in pop culture. The Turtles, Splinter, the Ooze, Sewers, the Shredder, the Foot Clan. With a loan from Eastman's uncle, they print 3,000 copies of their comic.
3,000 copies on your first go is crazy. Like, I think my first Kickstarter, I only printed like 300 copies, and it was a fuck ton of books. I still have a couple left, like taking up space somewhere.
The roommates split up and go their separate ways. Only fate had other plans. All 3,000 issues of TMNT #1 sell out. So they do a second print run of 6,000 more, and then all of those sell out. They've made enough money to pay Eastman's uncle back and even have a bit left over. So Eastman begins busing back and forth from Portland to Connecticut to work on issue 2. It takes them a few months, but they finish issue 2 and sell 15,000 copies in the first print run. Then they reprint issue 1 and sell 30,000 more copies. Something's happening. They quit their jobs. Eastman moves to Connecticut to work on issue 3, which launches with a print run of 50,000 copies.
Woo! I don't know why I'm acting all hype about this. Like, I know it's gonna become a $1 billion franchise, but I mean, come on, like, it's cool.
What I think people forget is how freaking good these comics are. The energy in these early issues is off the charts. There's no editor, no boss telling them what they could or couldn't do, so they just decide to do whatever they want. Like, in issue 3, they set out to do the longest car chase in comic history, and they do.
Is that a thing? The longest car chase in comic book history? Are we keeping records like that? Is it like, what? Is it by panels, by pages? Show me the Guinness Book of World Records for comic books. I need to know who drew the pointiest word bubble.
Not only is the storytelling great, but they are channeling their hero Jack Kirby with the pace of invention. Issue 2 introduces April O'Neil, Baxter Stockman, the Mousers. Issue 3 has the TCRI aliens, and in the 4th issue they create Casey Jones. By issue 5, the Turtles are in space, meeting aliens and robots. There's this pure raw joy.
Wow, that panel is awesome. Holy shit. I sometimes get turned off by like older comics that have this like overly detailed style. Like, at first glance, it looks like a lot of visual noise, just messy to look at. But I'll admit, this one looks beautiful. I like that the space base has a lot of solid white, like along the edges and the giant structures, just to help it pop from all the other space squiggles.
Licensing agent Mark Friedman shows up and offers him a 30-day, non-exclusive deal to prove what he can do. They decide to let him take a shot.
30 days? I've never heard of such a thing. Who the hell would want to work in that kind of time crunch and expect big results?
Toy deal in place, they hire an agency to produce a 5-episode TV cartoon. And unlike if they had worked for DC or Marvel, Eastman and Laird are in control of everything. And you have to give them credit because they're very receptive collaborators with the toy and animation companies. They let them sand the rough edges off their creation, adding colored bandanas and pizza, removing the violence, the grittiness, and the kind of phallic-looking tails. Now, Laird—
Who was looking— what? He has put that pic up like 5 times already. And I never noticed that. What are y'all doing immediately zoning in on the turtle wing? It's not even a wing.
Now, Laird had an especially hard time with this, but he went along.
Oh yeah? He had a hard time with this?
The money was flowing in, Mirage was growing, Kevin Eastman bought a tank, and
When people start making it, you'll notice subtle hints. Little details that they're on the come up. Maybe their skin looks clearer, or they're traveling more. Gucci belt just coming out of nowhere. Just a subtle way of saying, I'm eating good. Or get a fucking tank. No easier way to tell that a comic creator's made it. Shit, I just thought of a new Patreon goal. Not gonna tell you though. It'll be a surprise.
You see, despite all the success, their relationship was falling apart. They were spending so much time managing the business that they barely had any time to work on the comic book. And when they did, they'd spent so much time apart that they were creatively on totally different pages.
Ooh, wow, okay. I felt that one. It's weird to think that a lot of the trials and tribulations— that's the word, right? It's crazy to think that what was challenging for comic creators in the 80s, like, still more or less applies to comic creators today. Like, I was just saying in that video I made at the beginning of the year, how I just went so hard on trying to make content and expand the brand that my actual comic making process suffered because of it. There's only so much time in the day for one guy to hustle.
They'd spent so much time apart that they were creatively on totally different pages. And by issue 10, their relationship had gotten so distant and fractured that they're going back and forth, whiting out each other's drawings and drawing over them. And it took them 4 months to get that issue of the comic out.
The first time that happened had to be like, where are all my pages? Did you not build off of any of them? Oh shit, were those your pages? My bad, bro. I completely whited them out. Just erased everything. I just wasn't vibing with what you were drawing.
They make a final attempt to save the franchise with a live-action TV reboot called The Next Mutation. But during development, Eastman and Laird have a huge falling out over the inclusion of a 5th turtle, Venus Delilah.
Venus Delilah? You were making a 5th turtle and you didn't name it Georgia O'Keeffe? Fucking drop the ball on that one.
The story doesn't end there, because after a few years of no Turtles media at all, something interesting happens. A new TMNT comic book comes out, written by Peter Laird. It's black and white and published by Mirage. Laird ignores the image run and picks up the story.
Turtle Dick. Oh man, we are so fucking back.
Around this time, the animated show had run its course, and Laird decides the time has finally come. He sells the rights to the Turtles to Viacom. 25 years after their creation, for the first time in history, neither Eastman or Laird are in control of the Turtles' fate.
Sold for $60 million is bonkers.
For the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle episode of the show Toys That Made Us, they decide to bring Eastman and Laird together again for the first time. Now that's just marketing BS because they had been together a few times at conventions, but man, I can't watch this without tearing up.
We had that window installed.
Yep.
Because our big idea was we'd each have a drawing table next to the window. I'd be in the other room, you'd be here.
Yep.
And we literally pass pages through the window. It never happened.
No.
Man, I only just learned of these guys and I'm already feeling the emotions. They started out just wanting to make awesome stories out of their garage, and then it became something bigger than they could have ever imagined, and then they just drifted apart. That's sad. The Turtles got between two bros. That's out of line.
But that's not the end of this story either, because shortly after that meeting, a new Turtles book comes out. And look who it's credited to, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. It seems that sometime after that meeting, Eastman dug through some old boxes and found an outline for a Turtles graphic novel that he and Laird had drafted during the golden years of their collaboration in the late 80s, but never got to make into a reality because their success distracted them. With Laird's blessing, Eastman expands the outline into a 5-issue series, and it's probably the closest thing we'll get to a new Eastman and Laird collaboration. Interestingly, it ignores all the continuity from the Image run, Laird's run, Eastman's run, erasing all those years of strife and discord, and serves as a direct continuation of and conclusion to their original collaboration.
What a fucking power move. Just bulldoze over decades of everyone else's take on the Turtles, all the comics, and just pick it back up to where you left off.
And of course, the magic was back, and it was a huge success. And the plot of that comic? It follows the last surviving turtle in his final struggle against the Foot Clan, lonely and haunted by guilt and remorse and the memory of his lost friends. As he lays their weapons down to rest one final time, he says, "I miss my brothers so much."
That was a lot of fun. That was a great deep dive on the Turtles' history. Super interesting story. I learned a lot. The way the Turtles brought the rise and fall of Eastman and Laird's friendship just brought a whole new layer to this franchise. In fact, now that I know that the two creators joined forces one more time to make an epic conclusion to their original series, I decided to go out and get this. Now that I know what went down to make this comic come to life, makes me even more hyped to read it. You can expect this in an I Never Read video soon. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and give this video a like, especially if you're a Turtles fan or a Ninja fan or a pizza fan. Just share some of that Turtle Mania love. We're getting to be just under 1,000 subs, and I want to do something to celebrate the 4-digit achievement when the time comes. Which, thank you for helping me get to this point, by the way. It is just so fucking awesome to see that you guys enjoy what I'm doing. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate you. And it makes me want to keep getting better and faster at making videos so you can just keep enjoying what I'm doing. And yeah, see you in the next video. Thanks for a shell of a time. Stupid.